welcome back to Witchtionery. If you have yet to subscribe to this channel, then please do so because we're getting crafty and spooky all month long. And today I wanted to bring to you guys some Halloween floral designs using some old Simon Says stamp sets that we've gotten in previous kits. I'm also going to be using two of the buys that I managed to snatch up for the Stamptember releases, and they are the CZ Design Wafer dies in the sentiments Trick or Treat and Boo. To start off, I'm going to be using the Delicate Flowers stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to start inking up all of my images using some soft Granite Hero Arts ink, and I'm going to be doing so on my Arteza watercolor paper. To color all of my images, I'm going to also be using my Arteza Real Brush pens and my watercolor Arteza pen as well. If you're interested in any of these products, I'm going to link to all of them below. And make sure that you are using my code WitchtioneryCrafting2 for 10% off of any of your orders all the way through October 31st. You know, it's kind of a little treat surprise for the adults in your life who like to craft a bit, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna be focused on really emo looking colors, and my only regret is that I didn't use like gray for the foliage, I guess, for the flowers. I did stay away from any black and gray, and the reason why I stayed away from black particularly is because a lot of markers, including the Arteza ones, have this bluish tint to them, and it was giving my roses just this really weird look. So I just stuck to wines and burgundy and purples, and I felt like that was cute and emo enough. Like, I think I would find this in a real Halloween bouquet. From my stash, guys, I found this relic. It is the Impression Obsession Shadow stamp, and I bought this 2 years ago, and then I lost it, like literally lost it, and I couldn't find it. And while I was looking for some cute little bats to put around my flowers, I found it. And this is where I'm gonna have to apologize. I did use a ton of supplies for these cards, and I didn't mean to, but once I found the Impression Obsession stamp, I was kind of like intrigued with what else I had in my stash. So I'm definitely gonna have to encourage all of you to dig and dive into your stashes and see how you can make Delicate Flowers and other floral stamp sets look a little bit more Halloween like. I'm really happy I found this stamp set. Oh my goodness, this stamp would have been its own video if like I had found it sooner, but I didn't, so it's gonna have its moment right now. I'm gonna place each of my floral designs around my Impression Obsession shadow stamp just to give it a little bit more interest, but because I was still looking for a little bit of a bat or something else to make this more Halloween-like, I did go searching in my stash for some bats, and while I couldn't find my bat sequins, I couldn't find the bat stickers that I'd just gotten as a present, I couldn't find my hand-lettered Halloween Simon Says stamp set, I had almost given up on the idea of adding bats because for whatever reason this was not looking Halloween enough for me. And then I looked at my desk and I had found my spooky script stamp set right there, so I decided to just use those bats to kind of just give this a little bit more of a Halloween look. Obviously I could have stopped way before the actual bats, but your girl didn't. Don't know why, but okay, it is what it is. I'm going to raise up my card panels using some foam tape, and I'm just going to adhere those down to some black card bases made out of Simon Says Stamp black cardstock. And once I was satisfied with how those looked, I again found something in my stash and wanted to use it. So I had found some Simon Says Stamp moonshine sequins, and I just used my glue pen to adhere them throughout this card, but honestly, I could have stopped ages ago. This was just This was just a little obnoxious and over the top, so I am sorry for that. You obviously don't have to do this, but again, inspiration. Use florals for Halloween. We spent too much money, guys, too much money. But yeah, once I was done with those sequins, that basically wrapped up these cards. For my next Halloween floral stamp set, I had taken out these, dies, so I did want to use them. Otherwise, I was going to keep going with the Impression Obsession stamp because I just love that sentiment. But nope. I made a commitment and this is what I'm doing. Back in May, I had mentioned how the Hello Darling stamp set could potentially be used to make Halloween wreaths if you changed their colors, or at least that was the idea, and I remembered it, so today I wanted to put that theory to the test. So I go ahead and I make another circle like I did back in May, and I will literally have that video at the very end of this video, so that way you guys can check it out so you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to use a bunch of my distress inks to just make a nice Halloween looking wreath. For whatever reason, I wasn't satisfied with my first wreath, so I wanted to use slightly darker colors, although I feel like my second wreath came out looking more fall-like. Like, for example, if you just added, instead of these grays and the purples, if you would have added, like, let's say, a green and a blue, this would have been a fall wreath. So, yay, maybe I'll make one of those cards in the future, I don't know, but yeah, once I was satisfied with that, again, I took out the same bats from the first card from the Spooky Script stamp set, and I just, stamped down a few of those bats to give this more of a Halloween look. And then finally, I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp black cardstock to just die cut those sentiments, and I'm also going to use this really shimmery reflective cardstock that I found in my stash, and I'm going to link to the actual cardstock below. But this stuff is actually pretty cheap and it adds a fair amount of interest to any project you have. I used my glue pen to adhere down the gold onto the black die cuts, and I wasn't satisfied with the way that the shadow die looked on the trick or treat, so I did go ahead and trim that a little bit. But here I am just gonna adhere that boo die cut to the other shadow die cut so you guys can totally see how easy that is. I really love these dies. Once I was done with that and I kind of was satisfied with the placement, I erased one of the bats that I made on one of the wreaths using some whiteout because I just didn't like them. And now I'm just going to use a Sing Out Gold pen to add a few more little details around my wreath to just round it out and also just connect the trick or treat to the actual wreath. But again, still keeping in mind that this is a wreath for Halloween. Honestly, I feel like Michaels would have loved these. And again, while I was going through my stash, I had found my last year's Halloween kit stamp set, the Frightfully Fun Simon Says Stamp kit stamp set. And I remember that this stamp set had these itty bitty tiny little candies, and I wanted to add them to my wreath. Although, again, do you need to do this? No. The wreaths look perfectly fine before. I am just obnoxious, but it's okay. You know what? I had so much fun diving through my stash and actually seeing what I had. So I'm actually really happy that I did that, because wow, your girl has a ton of Halloween products. Like, you better work. Once I was done and I was satisfied with my panels, I raised them up using some foam tape onto some fog cardstock from, of course, Simon Says Stamp. Y'all, Simon Says Stamp better sponsor me at some point or something, because, yo, I use so much of their stuff. Anyway, lastly, I'm just gonna stamp down a sentiment on the inside of my cards, and for this, since I already was using this the spooky script stamp sets, I'm just going to stamp down Happy Halloween on the inside of these cards with a few more bats, and that finished up these cards. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Halloween florals, I think, are very fun. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care.